Hello, anyone there? Welcome to the stream. No one's in chat yet. Anyways, so hello everyone. No one's watching. um, Today I'll be discussing the Jurassic World Rebirth movie, and this video by the Gaming Beaver. Big fan of the Gaming Beaver. I love him. Please go watch his content too. He's amazing. Um, but I can just quickly say my opinion on the movie. It was not good. Um, what I usually say when I talk about the movie is that it's a dinosaur movie that just was lucky enough to get the Jurassic World license. Like it wasn't supposed to be in the part of the Jurassic Park movies and shit. We didn't need Jurassic World Rebirth, to be honest. And yes, it has some good parts to it, but mostly it's just bullshit. Like honestly, it's not good. I would give it a 3 out of 10. But anyways, let's watch the video. And wait, just before, if there's any sound issues, please do type it in chat, and I'll try and fix them. And you can also just give your opinion through the stream as well.
Surprise! I watched Jurassic World Rebirth. I got the T-Rex's head. I've also got a Spinosaur.
When I watched the movie, there wasn't anything of that. You could just get some normal stuff, just a normal cup, just a normal popcorn holder or whatever. There wasn't any special things.
So yeah, I went to see Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm in the UK for one day before I fly back to Japan. The reason why I'm here is because I was invited to a special event, but it was a Jurassic World event. It was really cool.
Well, then it makes more sense since it's a special event. Then they would probably give out, exclusive stuff like that. I didn't have any of it, which is a bit sad. I would like to have some stuff I could take home with me, like when I watched the Minion movie. It was like the special ones where they had the logo of the Jurassic World Dominion on it. I still have that 4 years later or whatever it is, 3, I don't know. Actually quite cool of a popcorn holder, even though it's really simple. Anyways.
Loads of community members in the UK as well. Then afterwards we just went to, or some of us went to see Jurassic World Rebirth. Some for the first time, others for a second time. For me it was my first time. And in this video, I want to split it into two halves. I want to have the first part to be spoiler free. So if anybody...
Oh yeah, I forgot to say, there will be spoilers. There will be spoilers in the stream. So if you don't want to get Jurassic World Rebirth spoiled or you haven't watched it yet, please do click off this stream right now, because I will spoil it. And Beaver will probably too.
I was wondering, so I'm checking my mic there, if I'm going to go into spoilers straight away. No, I will probably put it in a time thing if I remember, but I will say verbally when spoilers are going to come up. Just in case you haven't seen the movie, this is probably up 1 or 2 days after I've seen the movie or something like that. And if you want to know my initial thoughts, this is something I couldn't do for Dominion because Dominion came out like a month later in Japan, and Rebirth is also coming a month later out in Japan. So that's why I'm here. So the movie, let's talk about Jurassic Park 7. Could you imagine that, like, I couldn't when I was a kid, that when I watched Jurassic Park 3, that there would be...
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own
I hate
story.
YouTube. Sorry for
4
that.
more?
I don't have the YouTube Premium. Sorry. But yeah, great freeze frame on them. But yeah, I do think it's kind of crazy that we now have 7 Jurassic Park movies. Which we don't need. We don't need 7. Okay, I'll not get into spoilers yet, but just so you know, Jurassic World Rebirth had really much potential. Like multiple times, but just missed it every single fucking time. But yeah, we don't need 7 movies. I'd say watch Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3, and then Jurassic World. And don't watch any more of the franchise, because then it begins to, spiral out of the canon Jurassic Park universe, I would say. Yeah.
And there's going to be more. Like, we're going to get Jurassic Park 10, 20, God knows however long the franchise is viable, which is, I don't know, a symbolism for capitalism and everything that Jurassic Park kind of... Anyway, but the movie, what did I think of the movie? Well, I enjoyed it.
Oh my goodness!
I
Nah, there's
can't
no way.
say...
There's no way he enjoyed it. The same person that didn't enjoy Jurassic Park 3, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion says that they like fucking Rebirth. Okay, Beaver, you just lost some social points from me. Man, no, it's not a good movie. I would probably say it's the worst one in the franchise so far. Well, probably not. Dominion was very bad, but it's definitely not that good. But hey, he may say that it's the worst one in the franchise. It's just he likes it. But it's just the worst one compared to the others. But who knows?
That it's my favorite because everyone's favorite is Jurassic Park. It just has to be. It's classic Jurassic. This one, it flew by for me. Before I knew it, we were at the end, and this is a 2-hour.
Yeah, I feel the same. Okay, no spoilers. Yeah, but the ending, right? I felt like we had only been like 2/3 of the way through the movie. That when the movie ended, I was like, the movie's not done. This story hasn't ended, We're still having this build up, you could say. It's kind of like a build up to an epic climax, but it was never like an epic climax. Anyways.
Was 2 hour 15-minute movie, and it flew by. It really did. I think that's a good thing, if I'm going to be honest. This felt like Jurassic Park 3.5 and better, basically. If you're a fan.
No. Okay. I'm a Spino fanboy. Okay, I love Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. It's amazing. Not that I don't like the Jurassic Park T-Rex, and I specifically say the Jurassic Park T-Rex because the Jurassic World T-Rex is just a superhero movie monster. It's not an animal like Jurassic Park T-Rex. Well, Jurassic Park T-Rex was also a movie monster, but you get my drift. But Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, man, I love it. It's really amazing. Like, the design of the Spinosaurus is so scary in a way because, the T-Rex was the big bad for in the first and the second movie. But in the third, yes, a younger T-Rex, gets killed off by the Spinosaurus, and you just feel that like, shit, this is the new big bad, you know. And it has so nice build up, and it, you know, because of the long snout in the you see in the when it catches the plane, you feel I felt like it could like put its mouth in the plane and then eat the people, which made it even more scary, you know. But yeah, Jurassic Park 3 probably wasn't the best movie since it was kind of rushed and you could feel it in the pacing and the story, but I would say it's much better than Rebirth. But let's hear Beaver. I've talked way too much.
And Jurassic Park 3, you'll definitely be a fan of this one, I would have thought. It's a fun romp. It's action-packed, and if you're into kaiju movies, I heard somebody said that basically the Jurassic World franchise is a kaiju franchise, and that kind of makes sense to me. It's a movie where you...
I would say so too. Again, no spoilers. Well, it's kind of hard to do no spoilers saying it, but a certain dinosaur catches a certain big thing out of the air and has it in its mouth, and it looks like a kaiju, even though it's not. Yeah, I don't have too much to say there, else than the Titanosauruses. They are probably a little bit too oversized, I would say, but it may just be me, I don't know. But I definitely can see the thing with Jurassic World movies beginning to be kaiju movies. Also, the fucking Mosasauruses. Damn, they're literal kaijus, like 50-meter long. Yeah, kaijus basically crocodiles, kaiju crocodiles.
You don't really need to pay too much attention, if I'm going to be honest. And is that what I want to see from a Jurassic Park film? This is the 7th. If I have to keep track of all of the lore, I'm going to go insane. And this one, you know, it does it in certain ways. We'll get into that spoiler territory. But I enjoyed myself. And that's something that I didn't really feel with Dominion or maybe Fallen Kingdom to an extent, for me personally. I thought the actors did a really good job.
Okay, I agree. The Jurassic World Rebirth, it was a very good movie. Like if you were just a normal person going into the cinemas to watch Jurassic World Rebirth, you would enjoy the film. It's much better as just a standalone film, which makes my point better that it felt like a dinosaur movie, which got the Jurassic World license after it was already written. But you would enjoy the movie if you haven't watched any of the previous ones. But as a Jurassic World fan, I would say it doesn't do the previous movies justice. Like Dominion didn't either do it. But Dominion at least built off of the last movie compared to Rebirth. Rebirth didn't build too much off of Dominion. I had a point. I had an extra point, but I don't remember it now. But yeah. Anyways,
you know, there were certain things with them that I thought the way it was done in this movie was really well done. I think the casting was very good. Some people have said, or at least I've heard, I can't say I've seen it myself, but some people have said that, oh, ScarJo, she's phoning it in. And yes, in interviews she says, oh, I've wanted to be in this franchise forever. And yet, I don't think I've ever seen a single clip of Scarlett Johansson saying that she wanted to be in Jurassic Park. Maybe it's because no one asked her the question, do you want to be in a Jurassic movie? Until now, in which case. But I think the acting was solid. They definitely developed the characters so that, and it just felt good in a way. I think certain characters you're not supposed to like, and of course that goes without saying. Generally, I enjoyed it. I really did. I think if you're a fan of Jurassic world,
Let's see.
you'll probably enjoy this one.
No.
If you're maybe more focused on the lore aspect of it, there's certain things that are very like, why? But not that many. I really feel they kept on hyping this up as classic Jurassic. But I liked that I didn't have to think too hard. And I know that's a weird thing to say. I was put...
Oh my fuck! I was about to pause, but nah. What the what the fuck? Nah.
in it.
But yeah. Wait, what was he said again? Oh yeah. I would say Jurassic World Rebirth isn't just a big whoa dinosaur movie, boom 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 explosion shit like Dominion was. It definitely made you think a little more. It was a thinker movie. It was not a popcorn movie. It was a thinking movie, if that makes sense. The best example I have is Godzilla -1 and Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire was just fun movie. Compared to -1, it made you use your brain and think about, you know, the meaning of war and shit. It made you think. It was a thinking movie compared to Godzilla X Kong, was just a popcorn movie. I'd say Rebirth is a thinking movie. It's just that it doesn't make you think too much, which is nice. Having a movie that makes you think but doesn't push you into uncomfortable territory where you have to be like, okay, so this is this and that and that, blah, 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 and have to hold the entire story together in your head and like, what the fuck is going on? Like some movies have. So that was nice. That was nice.
I was pointed in this direction, and I enjoyed my time with it. I also think that there's not really too much to scrutinize in terms of, you know, I made a whole video review on Dominion, and I could have done more, but that video was already maybe an hour and a half to almost 2 hours. With Rebirth, I feel like it's fast food. I don't know if that's a bad thing, because we all like fast food from time to time, but it was like that thing was great. But then I'm not really thinking about it too hard. The set pieces and the scenes were great. There's a part where I felt like it captured what Jurassic Park has. I think it's higher for me than Dominion. It's higher than Fallen Kingdom, because Fallen Kingdom, I think, suffered from the middle child syndrome, that, you know, you knew this was going to be a trilogy. And
I would say that Fallen Kingdom, it wasn't the greatest, and yes, Jurassic World Rebirth can be compared to it. I don't know, man. Fallen Kingdom, I just feel it holds a more of a special place in my heart because you know, Jurassic World came out when I was like what, 4 or 5 years old. And Fallen Kingdom came out when I was 7, 8 years old, and I loved those movies, mostly because of Jurassic World was just an amazing movie. It was awesome to watch. Had bad toys, I would say, quite bad toys. Hasbro weren't good at making toys, but Fallen Kingdom had really amazing toys, and they had so many, and I loved playing with those toys when I was younger. So I think it just holds a more special place in my heart. But as a normal moviegoer, I would say that Rebirth is leagues higher. It's just I may just have a little bit of preference for Fallen Kingdom. Not that much, because Fallen Kingdom is a bad movie. It's mostly just because I liked the toys when I was younger. So I can see Beaver's point there.
it's partway through, and Rebirth is a silly title. No spoilers, but all the other ones kind of make sense, but this one I don't think it really made sense to call it that. Yeah, I think that's all I can really say about it until I get into spoilers. So if you are planning to go see the film, pause this video now and come back
Spoilers,
when you've
spoilers.
seen it at least once. So, spoiler territory. We have a lot to talk about. I didn't really have too many opinions. I thought the general public will like this, and I think they will. However, I don't think they'll watch it for a second time. It's one of those, oh, I've seen that. And that, I think, is due to the ending. So the Distortus Rex, like the Giganotosaurus in Dominion, the Giganotosaurus Colin Trevorrow called the Joker. And after watching the movie, and I've heard from the theatrical, the extended release as well, there's no reason for that. No reason for the Giganotosaurus to be called the Joker, and no reason for it to die. And Distortus Rex, we had heard that we need to feel sorry for it because it's a product of, genetic meddling. And yet, I don't feel sorry for it. In fact, it is one of the dinosaurs that kills people and gets away with it. It has the highest body count, possibly, of any singular dinosaur in the franchise, I think.
Hey, you! Yes,
Shut
you. Do you
up,
usually buy
man.
your video games
I've
directly
gotten
from
4
Steam
fucking
or
ads
Origin?
now. We're only 7 minutes in. Wait, we're only 7 minutes in. I've been streaming for how long now? 21 minutes. I've been streaming for 21 minutes. No one's watching, of course. Classic. Man. I do think that's a little bit sad. No one's fucking watching right now. It's just me talking to myself. Anyways. There we go. I don't think the D-Rex has the highest kill count. I do think the Indominus Rex has a higher kill count, because we don't see in the start of the movie the D-Rex actually kill people. We didn't see that. He killed three people. I think 3 people in the start, that was it. Only 3 people. So the Indominus Rex still stands higher. The D-Rex, it wasn't really scary, I wouldn't say. It's an awesome design. I would call it awesome. It's kind of it's a great design, but it's just boring, you could say, in the movie. It's a boring ass dinosaur, like really fucking boring.
Rexy has killed 1 person in the entire franchise, and that was in Fallen Kingdom. And this thing, it was just like the way it moved didn't feel like it was abnormal and it was struggling. So let's try and start from the beginning, because of course I'm doing this from a single preview or a single viewing. Product placement of the movie, so much so I never thought I'd say this, but a freaking Snickers wrapper is the cause of Distortus Rex escaping? I have no idea why this isn't easy.
Yeah, that part didn't make any fucking sense in the movie. So, just so you know, so we have this scientist, whatever. He takes a Snickers, he eats it, and he throws it on the ground before going into the D-Rex enclosure. Now, the Snickers bar, or wrapper I should say, goes into a vent in the door of the D-Rex, and apparently that makes it so that the entire system holding together the laboratory has to reboot. Now, does a wrapper from a Snickers bar going into a vent, an air filter or whatever, have to reboot an entire fucking system? No, it doesn't. But apparently it does here. made no fucking sense. Like, it almost felt like it was for comedy purposes, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
A sauna, it makes no sense why it isn't, or why this isn't biosyn. This whole lab that we see at the start would make so much more sense if it's biosyn. And the reason for that is the design language of the lab is just biosyn. It's Dominion. You've got the yellow screens, you've got the futuristic smooth white, everywhere clinical white, people in the white hazmat suits. No idea why this is InGen. The only reason I think it's InGen is because this has to link to Indominus Rex. It doesn't have to. We don't have to make everything link together. And I said this to I think it was Tom Jurassic. It would make more sense. He said as well that it would be a biosyn. And what if the reason why Distortus Rex is the way it is because they didn't have a completed T-Rex genome? Maybe they did get the Barbasol can. Maybe some of the DNA was corrupted, it went off, and they're trying to complete the sequence. And that's why we have versions of Distortus Rex. Because I think it's 25 or 23 they're on right now. There's no reason as to why everything has two heads.
Wait, why do we... Wait, what?
Versions of Distortus Rex. Because I think it's 25 or 23 they're on right now. There's no reason...
23 or 25 versions of the Distortus Rex. What? I don't recall that part of the movie though. But yeah, anyways.
As to why everything has two heads that I can think of. This is supposed to be the testing lab to make things more entertaining. Again, we're going with the direction that dinosaurs aren't anyone cares about, which is so stupid, and I really wish they would drop it. I really do. Give me another reason, because that one's just flimsy as all hell. We have zoos, we have conservation efforts. Why would anybody not care about a dinosaur? We have two-headed Mutodons, we have two-headed Triceratops is also in there, and the only time it appears in the movie. And we have a Distortus Rex that doesn't have two heads. It has no reason to look like the way it does, because everything else has two heads. Where's the two-headed T-Rex? What are we combining it with to make it that way? No explanations. And I don't feel as though we need to be drip-fed it, because that's the whole joy of it, working it out, having theories.
Yeah, exactly.
But
a thinking movie. You're having theories, you're thinking about the story, everything, where it goes together, which, if overdone, can be overwhelming, but if done just right, can make an amazing movie experience.
There's no reason that I can think of that it looks like that. And Gareth Edwards just went on record saying, oh, it's, some other dinosaur's been wrapped around it, and the only one I can think of is the Titanosaur, because of its big bulbous head, and that's what Distortus Rex has. And another thing is this Snickers wrapper that causes the air intake to be, I don't understand why that's a thing, for a start. Second, how even in a lab that's allowed. Everyone's wearing hazmat suit. Why is somebody allowed to walk in eating, of all things?
Exactly.
And I don't know about you, but if I'm in a workplace or even out in the streets, if I'm eating something, dropping rubbish on the floor never crosses my brain. So why would it cross my head to do that, even in a rush, in a lab, where, contaminants and everything, and the reason why it happens is because...
Money!
I think they got paid so much money. To think now, the franchise has come to a point where I can write out a Snickers wrapper causes somebody to die and possibly the destruction of an entire lab. That's a thing that is legit
It makes
in the
no
movie,
fucking sense,
in the
honestly.
franchise now. And another reason why it short circuits, it's very Final Destination. It's so left up into interpretation that I think it needs to be kind of clarified, because you have one set of doors that goes in, which is like this contamination room that we've seen in Dominion. They go in, they get cleaned, and then they go into the enclosure. And this wrapper stops the door into the containment lab. And for a start, if that door was allowed to be left open, why wasn't the Distortus Rex asleep in there beforehand? Or are they allowed to just walk into the Distortus Rex enclosure while it's roaming about? Why were they shooting it if, because that camera was in the lab of the scientists shooting on that little mini screen? Why could it just get out? Did it short circuit some gassing that was supposed to sedate it? Or it's just too... And especially later on when we see that same lab where the door you can into the Distortus Rex enclosure, it's gone. You just see out into the wilderness, into the jungle, into the forest. So the whole lab was ripped apart, ripped off. And it could be something that they're going to explain later. I don't think what we see is how Distortus Rex
I actually didn't realize that, but now when I see it, it's kind of bullshit, like, honestly.
escapes. I think it's just one incident.
Okay, shut up. Why am I getting sick?
So maybe we'll go back to see how the lab broke down, because obviously the experiments there continued, and that's how we got Indominus Rex. But we just needed to see the Distortus Rex kill a person to know it was deadly, I think?
Okay, I'll just go AFK real quick. I have to do something. Okay, I'm back. Whoever's watching, there's like one person watching. Hello. Hope you're doing good. Just quickly had to make a post on my community tab that I'm streaming because no one's fucking watching right now. One person is. Hello to you. Thank you for watching. That is very kind of you. But yeah, that was just it. Let's get on with the stream.
We didn't see the events that led up to the lab being completely evacuated and all hell breaks loose, because from what it looked like, he grabbed a dude, walked away, that was it. And the lab still functions, from what I recall. And then, of course, we got the introductions of...
Yeah, that makes no sense. How does the entire lab shut down because of the D-Rex taking one person, eating him, and still being locked inside its fucking enclosure? That makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Our main cast. The
entire movie doesn't make sense, so...
where he's stuck in the traffic jam with the apatosaur and he's got graffiti on. Apparently his concept art from Dominion. Jack from Terradome, Jack Ewens, cleared that up. He caught that actually, and especially on the bus, the school bus, it said Crichton School, obviously a nod to Michael Crichton, the creator of Jurassic Park, the novel. And then again we get the scene with Henry Loomis, who's a supervisor, and the museum's going out of business because they've sold 12 tickets all today. Apparently it's free. I heard that the tickets are free, but only 12 people went in to see it, which makes no sense. Also having the fossil, there's a fossil of the Quetzal in there and the mosasaur, which is almost like a roll call of what's coming up. TV spot, or on the wall projector, which kind of shows us what we're going to see in the movie. There's animated versions of Titanosaur and basically, the island. Okay, I guess we're calling back to the Dr. DNA. The human deaths in this, yes, are more gruesome and realistic, but they felt more hard-hitting, and I don't know why. I felt like in this movie, the deaths carried weight, even with the character who was just like, I'm good.
I would agree on that. Just a tiny bit. Because the people that get killed off in Jurassic World Rebirth actually had something to do with the plot. They actually were a part of it. Not a giant part of it. Just a tiny role, But the thing is that the main characters we have actually, knew these people in universe, and were good friends with them, or even lovers. And it does put on more of a, oh no, they died, compared to like, well, the Indominus Rex just killed the whole army of people. If you think of the families they have and shit, yeah, it might be sad, but in Jurassic World Rebirth, they explicitly make it so that you feel a connection with these people that get killed off, but you know from the start that they are gonna get killed because they get almost no screen time. So, that was nice. You actually get to know the people before they die, which makes you, have feelings for them.
Looking mercenary who kills, like the guy who got dragged off by the Spinosaurs, and drowned and eaten and stuff. That felt like it was, oh wow, okay, he's it wasn't just an instant death, and I don't know why. Just all the other deaths just didn't seem to carry a weight. And I don't know whether it was the music. It had an impact for me. Why that is, I can't explain it. Maybe on more subsequent viewings I'll be able to break down exactly. I do feel like Delacour, that's his name, I think. Or am I quoting a different Jurassic character? But the guy who gets killed by the Spinosaurs, I thought it would have carried more weight if because of course the neurotoxin, we've got neurotoxins, Lost World, Eddie Carr, one prick, you're dead, and whatever. He shoots at the Spinosaur and misses. And I thought, what if he killed a Spinosaur and it drowned and it was gargled and died and was horrible, and then it would more justify his death, possibly, rather than him,
Shut up. Why am I getting so much fucking pornography on YouTube?
Protecting, and the only thing he had that was bad was like he didn't want to rescue the people. And really, Henry Loomis here is the moral compass. He's the Alan Grant and Jeff Goldblum character mixed into one, who's kind of not really a love interest for ScarJo, but they set up the characters before anything happened, which I thought was interesting. It did make for the start of the movie to be a little bit slower, and I think that's why some people did complain about it. But also it does stop, during the action and or when we're on the island, it stops us from having to have slow momentum to build these characters and to know what they've been through, and that
that what was actually quite nice. Not fast paced, big music all the time. Just getting to know the people in the movie in the start, that was actually quite nice, to be honest. I liked that.
A lot of them, they're not fresh mercenaries. They've got PTSD or they've lost their kid.
Yeah, that I like that. I really like that part, that you got to know that the main character isn't a superhero. Because normally it's like main characters, they always have some kind of superpower, even if it's not a superhero movie. Usually it's then just plot armor. Like, come on, man. Fucking Raptor Boy or whatever he's fucking called in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Owen Grady? I don't remember. Fucking Super Mario. Like, that guy. He survived fucking I don't remember what it's called, but that gas that comes from a volcano. You wouldn't be able to survive that. You can't fucking breathe in it. And it's like 500 degrees Celsius. You'd be fucking burnt to death. But oh no, he just runs through it. No worries, no worries. And also in Dominion, he jumps into literally ice cold water. Gets no hypothermia. Even though he's almost naked, you could say. Yeah, he has pants and shoes and a shirt or whatever, but that ain't gonna do fucking nothing when you're just way jumped into some ice cold water. But he survives, no issues. Just after a plane crash, he just crashed the plane into the ice water, fell into it, ran right away, and was just fine. But it was nice to see that, Scarlett Johansson, Zora, whatever, actually had some PTSD, and I felt something that was also nice was that you were kind of taken a little bit out of the Jurassic World universe, kind of, because she said the reason she had PTSD was because one of her friends got exploded by a car bomb, and that they didn't die instantly. They were still alive even though they were blown up, which is an extremely scarring, deep thing for a 13 plus movie. But that was nice. That was nice to, feel remorse for Scarlett Johansson's character, and know that they're not superheroes, that they are vulnerable. They have, human parts to them that makes so the viewer can relate to the people. Also, don't remember what he's called, but the guy that owns the boat. That his child is dead. They don't explicitly say that the child is dead, which also points out the thing that it's a thinker movie. It's not the best point, but that he his child, there's something with his child, that it's his child is either dead or sick or whatever, which I thought was a nice touch, showing that even though he's big buff man with a big buff boat, that he was also vulnerable. Sorry. Whew. Just got a little bit air in my stomach. So that was nice to see. Also that, Alan Grant or whatever he's called, that Alan Grant man, that he's vulnerable too. That he's a nerdy guy. He loves what he's doing. It's just he can't sustain him anymore, and you can feel he's sad about it. That was it. I like how they build up the characters, and that they show that they are vulnerable, that they aren't superheroes. That is a very nice touch.
Like Duncan has, and it makes him want to have a parental instinct, and he sort of projects onto the father, like, why did you bring these kids here? And I don't know, I thought the characters were quite interesting, more so than the Jurassic World ones.
Exactly.
That being Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, I don't know. And oh my god, so many of the trailer scenes gone. And I think that was great. The T-Rex scene, although, when it roars to the camera, that was cut. I knew that was going to be cut because they already redid it with the T-Rex sleeping. But Zora going, none of what you said was good. Cut completely, because it's one of those one-liners like, that's funny, but also stop. And then also her, like, we can guarantee your safety, more or less. Instantly in the trailer goes to, more or less? Yeah, that's another, like, Marvelism.
That I did like that. I liked that. That the movie wasn't one to one with the trailers. That was nice. Also, again, spoilers. Wee. The T-Rex, right? We see in the trailers its giant hand smash into the ground at night with the family and the rest, with going to the boat to escape the island. That wasn't in the movie. That was just like a kind of teaser a teaser for the movie, but it wasn't. No, a teaser for the T-Rex. What is the T-Rex? In the teasers, but when it actually came to the movie, that scene wasn't there because we already had seen the T-Rex and knew it okay-ishly. If that makes sense, I don't know if it does. Probably not, but Does it make sense, chat? Does it make sense? Fishy, yes, chat is peak. There is no one. No one's fucking watching. But if that makes sense, please say if it does. I'm desperate. No. Yeah. I've been streaming for 47 minutes. I've been talking way too much. Way too much. Yeah, anyways.
But it didn't happen that way in the movie. There was a little bit of gap, and then he sort of catches himself like, wait, more or less? Those worked out for, I think, in the film's benefit, that it didn't have the marvelization of quips for no reason.
That was
nice. But the mosasaur scene, I thought was good. It wasn't like, the thing is, I was thinking to myself, well, it's the mosasaur. Why is it not just eating the boat? Why is it not, attacking it? But I don't think it's trying to. If I'm honest, you never see the mosasaur eat somebody. And remember, it's an animal. A lot of animals investigate with their mouths. Never once does it attack the boat directly.
That's what I fucking love. That's what I love in these movies. It's when they show that these movie monsters aren't monsters, they're animals. Because yes, animals do inspect with their mouths. Because, you can both feel with the mouth, you can taste with the mouth, and you can, smell with the mouth, kind of. The nose is right over the mouth. So 3 senses, actually 4 with the your vision at the same time. That's why they inspect with their mouths. Makes sense that the mosasaurus then gets really close to the boat, bites it a little bit to see what it is, and then realizes, oh, it isn't food. And then just prickles off, I love that. I love when they show it's not a monster, it's an animal. Love it. Fucking love it.
It just sort of goes by, it grazes, it's having a chill time. And then, speaking of the mosasaur, this is apparently the same one from Jurassic World.
I get
In
too,
Albion,
but
no matter where you go or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps you'll...
It's not the same one from Jurassic World. I can just say it like that. It's not. It's not the same one. The one from Jurassic World, it looks like a crocodile. The one from Jurassic World Rebirth, it looks like a whale. The color scheme is different. The mosasaurus from Jurassic World, blue, black, and grayish. The mosasaurus from Jurassic World Rebirth, green, brown, and white. They're not the same. They aren't. They're not the same. 100% not. They are not the same. They aren't. No one's fucking watching. I'm just talking to myself, honestly. Well, there's one person watching. Whoever that is, thank you. Thank you for watching. It's probably Fishy. Fishy, if it's you, please make your presence known. I know it's you, Fishy. It would be a little bit embarrassing if it isn't, but probably is.
So, apparently, and they say that InGen lost track of it near Nublar. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they just lost it, you know, as a different mode. So, and again, this is another reason why it makes sense to make this Biosyn. Because it would explain, you know, we got Biosyn Quetzal, we got InGen Quetzal or whatever, the new one in the movie. Why can't we have just the Biosyn Mosasaur? It's not just like it got a different sculpt. It's not like Rexy in the Jurassic World movies, where Rexy got beefed up because people were annoyed that it looked too skinny. This is a completely different mosasaur. It has tail fluke on the back of it, exactly, which is more of a scientific discovery. It has like the whale on its belly. It has like a humpback. You know, the lines running down it, which would expand when a whale takes in water. So it's a completely different mosasaur, yet it's not. And actually, let's talk about the family. So I didn't mind them, especially the boyfriend. When I first caught the characters, you know, when they're sailing and stuff, and this boyfriend comes out and he's all, you know, oh yeah, I'll do it later. At that point, when they get attacked, and for some odd reason he's miles away, and they kind of explain it by showing that the sail, like, you know, the sail of the mast of the ship when it capsizes catches him, and that's probably why he ends up all the way over there. But then it catches him at the end of the mast, which means that he would already have to be so far away from the boat, and then, unless he slipped down it, which wouldn't make sense because you would slide up with the buoyancy. But either way, it's just a tension scene to... Something about Universal or these movies does not want the mosasaur to kill anybody except for Zara? Or Zora? I can't remember. I think it's Zara in Jurassic World. I can understand, like, this boyfriend's supposed to be annoying, right? Because then he has a bit of a character arc. In my head, when I first saw it, I was like, why is the father putting up with this? Why, like, your daughter dating, and then I don't know. I don't know whether it's because I've become a parent now, and I can sort of see it from a different perspective. You know, if my daughter, she dates and all that. You know, you don't want to ostracize. You don't be like, oh, I hate him, because then that'll have, you know, your daughter will then be like, why not?
To add text to OBS, it's incredible.
Um,
I'm back. Yippee! There's probably no one watching, honestly. Well, hey. Anyways, I'm back. I know it took a little bit of a long time. I'm sorry. No one's watching. Well, anyways. Sorry it took us such a long time. Very sorry for that. Let's get on with the video.
My daughter, where she dates and all that. You know, you don't want to ostracize. You don't be like, oh, I hate her, because then that'll have, you know, your daughter will then be like, why not? You know. So I kind of understand it a little bit better. And, you know, and later on he steps up to the plate and helps out. But he still is this, I don't know, too lackadaisical, too chill.
Oh my fucking god, I just got back. Now I have to watch
I don't know what the word is, but for being stuck in this situation. And oh my god. So we get on the island. Then we have a PG-13 scene where the other crew member dies. I thought it was a really good scene of the Spino just chilling on the side of the beach. That was brilliant. I thought that was a great way of showing. And this movie does a great...
To be honest, I actually didn't like that scene very much. Now I'm gonna tell you why. Spinosaurus, right, goes up to her and eats her. Off screen. Now I know, right, we can't have a R-rated Jurassic World Park movie, whatever. But could we at least just have something terrifying as the Spino going up to her, like, no, okay, not from behind, but you know what I mean. Going up to her and then tearing her into two pieces or some shit, biting her on the torso, ripping her apart while she's still alive. You know, that would have been so good. Like, it would have scared the audience, showing that, oh shit, these things are really, really, really scary. Especially when they've already killed two people and they only just arrived on the island. Also something I would have liked with the Spinos in that scene is them running up to what's it called? Running towards the people, you know, the cast, everyone, running towards them in the woods on four legs, like galloping or something, running towards them, screaming, rah! Because, you know, Dr. Lin blah blah woo, that guy, Alan Grant person with the museum or whatever, he said they're amphibians, they can be on land. And I would have loved them to show that more. Like the Spinos running after the people into the woods. But eventually returning when they got too deep into the woods. Because they heard the roar of us, the T-Rex, or what would make more sense, the D-Rex. I just thought that would be awesome, honestly. Think of how cool that would be. And maybe you could make it so, like, at one point, the Spinos, you know, there's totally quiet. Okay, scene building. Totally quiet. No sound, nothing. You hear only the little chirping from birds and a little bit of noise from grasshoppers and other insects. Just slight background sound. Just a little bit. And then you hear something that breaks the silence, or the semi-silence, you could say. One of the Spinosaurus is growling. And then it turns totally quiet. Nothing. No sound, no nothing. And then suddenly, all four Spinos come running out of the woods after the people. Rah, 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 you know? And they're like, oh shit, we gotta run. It would have been awesome. We didn't get that, unfortunately.
great thing for dinosaurs. It shows them sleeping. It shows them resting. They're not these killing machines. We're getting the T-Rex later.
Oh yeah,
And she gets PG-13.
But you know, it kind of works if you watch it from like as he sees it, the beaver, that they are animals. But I would say 2 people for a mosasaurus and 4 full-grown Spinosaurus isn't enough. So I would say it would make sense if they ran after them into the woods. But who knows?
Behind the thing.
But yeah, it was nice to see the Spinosaurus actually just laying in the sun, bathing itself, or whatever it's called. No, just laying in the sun, chilling.
I don't know. I did feel it from Duncan's perspective. All of his friends dying, especially by the Quetzal. Then of course you get this crashed helicopter. That's how the main bad guy gets a gun. He sort of we sort of knew he was going to be a twist villain. I was kind of hoping that he wouldn't be a twist villain because it's so obvious. And then, he lets her, the Mayday thing, which would make sense for him not to Mayday because they're in restricted space, but then letting her die? Okay, we're going a bit too far. But, that's his character.
I wouldn't say he let her die, necessarily. He was just suspicious. And in the situation, I wouldn't say he really could have helped anyways without, maybe risking his life too. But killing her, or at least attempting to, I don't think so.
And it makes sense. We've got to have this villain. But let's just talk about the raptors. Wow, the raptors. Raptor what? Raptor who? You have a scene where this the boyfriend goes off and takes a wicked waz, and the raptors are behind him. I quite liked that you see the raptors hunt, because normally you never see a raptor hunt. Jurassic Park, it just comes out and then attacks. You don't see it hunting. Lost World, you see them from a distance just walking towards their prey. This one you see it slowly stalk, and then it stops for a moment because it makes a noise and it's like, oh, it doesn't want to put the prey. And then the Mutadons come. Then the Mutadons go, no, we're the big bad. This is a raptor fan's Jurassic Park 3. That's what this is.
Yeah, it is 100%. Okay. Again, with the normal moviegoer, I would say this scene, right? It would be a good scene. It was. When I was in the theaters, cinemas, whatever. When I watched this, people were like, oh my god, oh my god. And then when the guy began pissing again after, he had, witnessed death, witnessed someone getting murdered, or a raptor getting murdered, And he began to pee again. People laughed. They were having a good time. The atmosphere was good and shit. But if you know the backstory of Jurassic World Rebirth, all the build up there was in the merch and advertisement of the movie, with the raptors being the one from Jurassic Park 3. I would say this scene is horrible because we don't get to see the Jurassic Park 3 raptors. You can't see their fucking colors. You can see the patterns. Okay. Fair enough. You can see the patterns of the raptors. But you actually don't get to see what kind of raptors they are. Like, are they the one from Jurassic World? The ones from Jurassic Park 1? The Lost World? Jurassic Park 3? We don't know. If it wasn't for the advertisement and the merchandise and shit like that. I just don't think we get to see enough of the raptors before they get killed off. But yes, I do agree with Beaver. It is nice to see them hunt. It was a cool scene. That's what I want to give praise for this movie, is they portray a lot of the animals as animals, not as much as movie monsters. Which is a nice part. I like that.
You thought raptors were cool? What about the ones with wings, huh? Yeah. It doesn't matter if you like the raptors. the Mutadons are the big baddie now. And apparently, because we got an article that said that the main bad guy shot at raptors and they ran away, and then the Mutadons appear. And that was completely cut. And supposedly that's one of the scenes that Gareth Edwards... There was 3 scenes that Gareth Edwards had to cut. And one of them, he really didn't want to. And supposedly...
Oh my fucking god. Why am I getting so much fucking ads?
It could be the raptor scene. And they just ended up making them the Mutadons instead.
Okay. I don't feel like we needed the Mutadons. Like, at all. Everything they do in the movie except kill the raptors could have done. Easily. Could have easily killed or hunted the humans. Could have easily done the same scenes. Like, for example, the Mutadon in the sewers. Raptor could have done it too. Mutadons going into the... What's it called? 7-Eleven or whatever. I don't fucking know. Going into there. We still... Wait. Okay, Okay, let me start over. We could have gotten that scene with raptors instead. In fact, we have. We have gotten that scene before in Jurassic Park 1 with the normal raptors. We don't need the Mutadons. Now, here's why. Well, already kind of said it, but the Mutadons, right? It's just a bigger raptor with a snout, longer snout, and a thinner one, and wings. But we don't get to see them use the wings. Why the fuck do we then have Mutadons? Okay, you might say, well, why then have the Spinosauruses? Why couldn't we have the T-Rex instead? We can see the T-Rex can swim too. Yeah, but the thing is, the Spinosauruses, they have long arms. They can swim better. They are better scene builders with the sails on the ocean, stuff like that. So there, the few differences they have compared to the T-Rex actually make a big difference overall. But the Mutadons, we don't really get to see them fly. They don't really use that. Only when it flies off with the raptor, and that was really it. Kind of boring, actually. I would just like to see it utilized more. That maybe a Mutadon came and attacked them while they were in the Quetzal scene. That would have been nice, but you know, who cares anyways? Like, big new bad one. Yippee. I would like to see them have used the only thing that made the Mutadon special compared to a raptor, instead of them literally walking on the ground instead. But, you know, it is how it is.
Argentinosauruses, I think on Argentinosaurus, Titanosaurs are next. And it's a nice scene. I don't know how they hid in the tall grass. All of a sudden they just all get up from wherever. It was a nice scene. It was a nice calm after having the mosasaurs and the chase and the Mutadons, which didn't wake up the family. And the...
I would say the Titanosaurs probably could have hidden there, because some of them we see are behind hills. But the thing is, we don't really get to see the hills after. Again, another part that it doesn't make sense. Guys, I just have to go quickly again. I'm sorry. I'll come back in just a bit. Sorry. That should be good right there. Okay, I'll come back in just like 10 minutes or so. Go watch Gaming Beaver video in the meanwhile, because he's an amazing YouTuber, and I'd love you guys to see him too. since I am stealing his content, basically. I am putting commentary on it, but I'm still stealing his content. So, please go watch one of his videos while I'm gone. Have my stream in the background while watching his video. And I'll come back in 10 minutes. See ya.
baby.
I'm back. Hello. Probably no one watching, but I am back. Just got something to eat. Oh, there's one person watching. Nice to see you still here. Sorry it took me a little bit longer than I said. You know, can't see the future. So yeah, let's stop the video.
Yoda insert, the Dolores that starts happening, and the young actor. I don't think any actors got my nerves at all. I thought they were all okay, passable. They went from passable to good in my book. The daughter who watched him, Delacour or whatever, die, who gets pulled by the Spinosaur, that would be traumatic. And the father recognizes that
That is a part I also liked. That normally in the Jurassic Park movies, people get torn apart, eaten, whatever, and people don't really seem to get, or at least the main characters, don't really get to be traumatized. But to see the daughter actually be really, really traumatized was nice. That was nice to see. Again, putting more feelings onto the character, which makes the viewer more interested in the story.
Dolores is helping her because she completely shuts off. So we get a little bit of that without lingering too long on it. Titanosaur scene's good. You know, you see it from Henry Loomis's perspective, and you hear his motif, which is the flute, which the actor plays in the orchestra, the actual actor does, and I thought that was, yeah, and later on, you get another thing. The music played, I think, a couple of times, the Jurassic Park theme. I think the first time I heard the Jurassic Park theme in this movie, it was so weird because it was a journey to the island, you know, like da-da-da-da, like this big bombastic thing. And if I remember correctly, it didn't come at a time that warranted it. I was like, but this is the Journey to the Island theme. Why are we doing it here? And there was one scene where on the boat, Duncan and Zora are talking, and they're talking about their past, their troubles. And for me, anyway, there's a piano that's playing in the background. And of course, there's an emotional scene. It's supposed to be, but it was a bit too distracting, I felt. I don't think it needed to be there. It was almost like, you know, when you watch Netflix, oh, look, they're like, they play, it's like, oh, we've broken up. And the next thing you know, the music's like, we broken up. It felt like that with the piano. It was like, a bit.
That's fun, because I haven't realized that at all. But it makes sense since Beaver is a professional animator, and animators could be classified as movie makers since they make their own short skits and movies. I'm not a professional animator, I just do it for fun, and my sound design isn't really that good. But it seems like his sound design is very, very good, which I think is fun to think about. Don't really know what else I have to say about that. Just a little fun thing.
A bit like too much on this, but that was just me. It wasn't a big gripe, and I think the majority of the things in this movie aren't big gripes for me. It's just little things. For instance, when they have to go to the top of the mountains for the Quetzalcoatlus, I had someone in a party that they were saying, how did they get up to the top so quickly within the same day? I 100% get that. Realistically, how did they do it? It makes no sense. But also in context of a movie, we kind of just have to have them up there. And you know, next thing, they walk all the way down in the temple.
So what do you want to do?
It's the fourth fucking ad
Do you like
for that
chickens?
game.
How about some more?
And stuff. For me, the context is, how are ancient ruins in this, you know, whatever, Zora Bennett's character sort of realizing that there's more to life than this mercenary bill, there's more to life than the money. And of course, at the start, we get the how many zeros can I write on this check thing from Jurassic Park 3. And another thing, that's the reason why this is Jurassic Park 3 again. You know, I could write all the numbers on this this check, how many zeros. Like I said, I think it's a movie that appeals to the masses. It's not really a hardcore lore enthusiasts kind of movie. And it doesn't need to even be a Jurassic World movie. This movie could have so been unrelated to Jurassic. In so many, take the engine off.
That's the point I'm trying to make. It's not a Jurassic World movie. It's a dinosaur movie that got the Jurassic World license. Exactly, Beaver. Exactly.
You've got, I don't know, Kong Skull Island, basically. There's so many things in this movie that are just like, we have no idea how that got there. We saw the Megalodon jaws for so long in the marketing, in screenshots, and we thought, oh, it's just like a prop sort of thing. It won't actually be a Megalodon. I think it might have been. Because a scene beforehand, we have a fishing net dump a Dunkleosteus skull on the dock. Okay? Where did that come from? Who? I mean, we're kind of just saying that genetic power is out in the world, and we can get DNA from anywhere? Can we? There's no mosquito feeding on a Dunkleosteus, and there's no mosquito feeding on a mosasaur. I mean, it may be, a fossil washed up, and that's the amber. That was the whole point. Amber was the only way to preserve the DNA in the Jurassic universe. I don't know about any other way that I've seen them show, but that could just be me. So we have a Dunkleosteus.
That is a little bit weird, but I don't really agree with the point that you can only get DNA from amber in universe, because this takes place in, of course, the Jurassic Park universe, but it is grounded to our reality, you could say, if that makes sense. And they probably have some other way to resurrect dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures. But I don't know, I thought that was a little bit weird of Beaver, that we can only get it from amber. It might just have been a quote from a movie, I don't know. I'm not too up with the lore. Because it is very hard to navigate through. It's basically FNAF, just dinosaurs.
Yes, and then we get on the island. We have what seems to be a Titanoboa. It's too small, but it does come out for a bit, and it's definitely a snake. It's not an amphibian. It's got like it seems to be a part of a snake that slithers back into the water. It's either a baby Titanoboa, and then we have a giant salamander, or some sort of amphibian. We're talking about Diplocalus, although it didn't have the head. It could have so easily been a Diplocalus, but they didn't make it a Diplocalus. I have a mod in Path of Titans that looks like that thing. And it was the giant salamander mod. It looks it has the spike running down the back of it. It has the same head. I need to put side by side of that thing and my mod in Path of Titans, because it's literally the same. And then we had this thing, this little green creature, a flying dinosaur, flying reptile, which is in Jurassic World Alive. I think it is coming to Jurassic World the game, so it is Jurassic of some sort. And we really don't know where it felt like with Jurassic World, the trilogy, now it's a quad whatever, it felt like they had to stick to certain things when it came to species. Was it on InGen's list? Was it on Isla Sorna? Was it on Nublar? They were the main things. And anything new was Indominus Rex, Indoraptor, Scorpius Rex. These were things made in a lab. And with this movie, who knows? And in a way, for me personally, I found that refreshing. I found that I didn't need to go consult the dossier, like, ooh, how do we get done? It felt like a monster movie. It was like, we're on an island, who knows what's there? How does the island's vegetation support 100 titanosaurs?
It didn't feel like a dinosaur movie. It didn't. Felt like a monster movie. Not a Jurassic World movie. A monster movie, not a monster verse. Felt like a monster movie.
I don't know. Is the island that big? How much do they need to eat continuously? Because sauropods basically needed to.
Come on. How many fucking ads are on this damn video?
You know, there's a lot of that gets thrown out just because they wanted to make a fun movie, and I think for the most part they succeeded. So yeah, we have the Mutadons, and they filled the role of the Raptors. The Distortus Rex filled the role of the T-Rex, and Distortus Rex, I love Rex filled the role of the T-Rex, and they filled the role of the Raptors. The Distortus Rex filled the role of the T-Rex. And Distortus Rex, I love its design. I love that it is just this horror, this beast that seems to be unstoppable. And I feel as though that's what the ending was missing. This is the only big bad in the franchise that survives, except for the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3. They both have water scenes. They both kill people, I suppose. Yeah, Spinosaur kills at the start and then that's it. And then they just walk away. Duncan survives because he was just a likable character and we need a Billy insert to survive at the end to psych out. Who knows how he got away? I thought, the Distortus Rex is a T-Rex, right? In Jurassic, T-Rex's vision is based on movement. And I went to this event and they said the same thing. Distortus Rex, you need to stay still. So obviously they've been given that from Universal, whatever.
Land-based threats. What are we dealing with here? We're dealing with the D-Rex.
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Okay? She has vision based on movement.
Then I don't understand why the guy in the lab didn't stand still, didn't find a different way, hide in a corner. If it has bad eyesight, he didn't need to. I mean, he was basically just knocking on the door. He wasn't jumping around or doing anything else. Why did the Distortus Rex pick him up then? Well, I don't know. We're playing fast and loose with the rules, I suppose, when we're doing this. And then the big baddie guy, he gets his comeuppance driving off. How does the Jeep still work after 17 years? The battery would be dead. For a start. The oil would have disintegrated, evaporated. But are we... There's certain things that you have to, for the sake of a movie, I'll give it a pass. For instance, the raft scene. The scene that the movie wanted to promote, spoiled to all hell in the promotions. Marketing for this movie was absolutely terrible. It gave so much away. And I was going to say it didn't give the ending away, but what ending?
Yeah, there were no.
And actually, in the promotion things, they showed the final boat they escaped in. So you could see everybody who was in that boat. And so you knew who would survive. Because there was no way that anyone's getting in that boat at night and it not being the ending. And it was the ending. Apparently the budget, or the marketing budget was like, in comparison to Dominion, it was so cut. Which explains why they really were like, we don't have options to make anything or try here. We've just got to show them it. They're going to be like, do you want to see it, please? There's a T-Rex in it. But the raft scene was great. Yes, we had a Dilophosaurus for a cameo. Did it need to use its frill? I mean, not really. But again, it's a Dilophosaurus.
Okay, the Dilophosaur, right. Why do we have the Dilophosaurus? Like, honestly, it was in the first movie. We don't need it again. It worked. The scene it was in the first worked to kind of say like, oh shit, even small things can kill you, because it's a small little cute dinosaur. But it killed Dennis Nedry, whatever he's called. But just doesn't work in this movie. Just doesn't. We could have easily had a raptor instead. And I think a raptor would have worked better, because we didn't really see anything of the raptors. But the Dilophosaurus, right? With the frill, I would say it would make sense for it to frill up like that against a potential threat that may take the prey from it or try and kill it. And you might ask, why didn't it do it to the T-Rex instead? Or to the T-Rex too, I should probably say. Well, it would be quite dumb for a little Dilophosaurus to be like, "Ah, you motherfucker, don't take my food." It could just killed, like, chomped into 2 pieces easily. But something the size of it, a human, like she is, it's a little bit weird if she wasn't a human. But yeah, the Dilophosaurus could see as a threat. So I would say, yeah, Dilophosaurus probably didn't have to be in the scene, but the thrill, like, threatening, could or is probably better than a raptor. But I don't know, man. I would like to see more of the raptors. We don't need the Dilophosaurus, honestly.
It's threatening, you know. It wasn't attacking; it was protecting. It's not kill. It's scavenge kill. That was
Exactly.
probably from the T-Rex. That's why it was sleepy. I know people were annoyed online when we saw her inflate the raft, push it in the water, and the T-Rex vanished. But you know, that it's part of movie language to build this. Not everything has to make sense. You can forgive things. Like, again, the Dolores seems to follow this family around till the ends of the earth and back again for no reason. It doesn't act like a normal animal would. And again,
No, it
they,
don't.
you know, just like
That's also something someone I was watching the movie with said, that's not how an animal would behave. And it wouldn't. It wouldn't follow a random thing it hadn't seen before, which just randomly gave it some stuff it liked. It wouldn't follow them. It wouldn't. But, yeah.
in Lost World, the compies aren't afraid until they're given a reason to be afraid, and then they attack and kill them. Dieter Stark, that is. Aqualops has no reason to be afraid of humans. It gets fed. I stick with these people. I get fed. Why not? But the fact that it followed them the whole way, it maybe, you know, it just smelt the merchandise. It smelt the product placement. It's like, well, I'll go. Apart from it obviously being the baby cute thing, that's why it's in the movie. But I can forgive it. I can forgive the movie for that. But the raft being bright yellow, which is the colour of the raft in that classic illustration you've seen of the raft scene from Jurassic Park. You know, the novel had it. And also the river raft adventure thing from Universal. The actual Jurassic Park ride itself was a yellow raft. So it's very Jurassic Park coded in that respect. And this is some, I can't say this is 100% my own original connections, but it is true. Jack Ewens found that out. He's like, oh, that's that. It's such a shame that they showed it all. I made my raft videos on my channel as a joke to be like, stop it. You know, you're giving too much away. You put another little bit in, I'll upload it and show that you're showing too much. Because the only thing we didn't see was the T-Rex drinking. And then a Pteranodon goes by. But the way the T-Rex acts...
Hey, you! Yes.
Shut
you. Do
up.
you usually buy your video games directly from
Shut
Steam
the
or
fuck
Origin?
up.
is great. It's a shame that it's the only scene with the T-Rex, but you know, it doesn't pull, but you know, it pokes its head under the water to try and see where they are. It puts its feet on the raft to test if this is something I can eat. Because remember, yellow in nature isn't a colour that you should put your mouth around. It's dangerous. It's toxic. Yellow, stay away. Bright yellow.
Yeah, I like the way they made the T-Rex in this one. It wasn't like Rexy. Rexy was just like, superhero, oh my god. But I like that T-Rex because you could see that it wasn't exactly hunting, to say. It was just curious. The reason it wasn't hunting is because it had already ate. But then as it had the possibilities to check out if this was food, it began like fishing for the people and knocking over the raft, you know. It was investigating the raft and the people to see, can I eat this? That's also why when it first put its teeth on the raft while it was flipped upside down, and the little girl wasn't inside. It didn't just bite it, and it checked. What is this with its mouth? And then it bited it after. So that's something I will praise this movie for, is that animals are animals, which is very nice. They actually make the animals behave like animals. Also, I realized a lot that when the T-Rex had realized, hey, this is food, it actually went fishing like a bear, standing on the riverside, waiting for a fish to come by and then snatch after it. That was a very, very nice touch.
So it doesn't, bite it straight away. It doesn't know what this thing is. I am amazed this raft didn't get punctured. Oh my god.
Yeah.
A bite from a T-Rex, one of the most powerful bites of all time. That raft. It should have been branded. It should have been like Snickers raft. We've already got Snickers causing almost the inciting incident of this whole thing. Why don't we have the raft be made out of Snickers wrappers? It definitely wouldn't have punctured them, that's for sure. I love that 17 years later, this petrol station, without fail, every night gets lit up and plays probably the same music, the same song. No wonder the Store's Rex is so annoyed at everything and wants to kill everybody. It has to listen to that and bright lights every night. The helicopter coming in, I thought, was going to be a Lost World nod. Because there's one point where the rescue helicopter is in the same shot as the Mutadons. Helicopter in the top right, Mutadons in the bottom left. We've seen them fly around. These things can take off. I don't know how. I don't know how they can take off. They seem super heavy. But they can lift raptors, which could, should be hollow boned anyway. But my goodness, these things are strong. For instance, you look at a Quetzalcoatlus, a wingspan that's how long to lift its body, but it'll still be hollow boned and everything. These Mutadons are bulky buggers. I thought that was going to be a Lost World nod. That we have them attack the helicopter, but no, Distortus Rex has to be the thing. I thought that was quite cool. Almost reminded me of Deep Blue Sea, where the helicopter gets pulled down by the sharks in that one. From there on out, seemed to go out with a whimper. Distortus Rex gets all of its screen time. It's gorgeous. I love it. Ankylosaur gets a little screen time as well. It's definitely a different model. You only see a little bit of the side of its head, but it's not Jurassic Park 3, and it's not. I don't think it's Jurassic World. The red compies as well get a little glimpse. Love the red compies. We've got the connotation with the poison dart frogs,
That is something I like. They didn't use the normal green, boring fucking compies that we see in every single movie, basically. They used something, the new ones, those red ones, red and black. And the thing is, in nature, when something is red and black, it normally means, hey, I'm hella dangerous. Stay the fuck away. That's what red and black means. And as Beaver said, poison dart frogs, they have such colors because they are extremely dangerous. Yes, dangerous. But the combies are poisonous too. So it makes more sense that they would be red and black to say, hey, we're hella dangerous. Because they look cute. I would love to have a combi if it didn't bite my ankles and put neurotoxins into my brain so I couldn't move at all. But, that's not the point. But yeah, that was nice. Red and black to show, hey, we're dangerous. I'd like to see the red and black ones in the 8th movie, because there is going to be an 8th movie, 100%. They make billions off of this franchise. Absolute billions of money. Billions of dollars. Dollary dues. They make so much of this franchise. So.
And if it is like the novel, they should be venomous. We didn't get to see that. Am I asking too much? I don't know. But anyway, on to the ending. Yeah, that they escape on a boat, and the boat itself is definitely not seaworthy. It's not a boat you take on the open ocean. with waves that can be 50 foot high.
Yeah, it's
Good
just a little
God.
piss boat. Like, okay, shut up. How many ads? How many fucking ads are we gonna get? 17 billion or what? Yeah, 70 billion. Okay, but that boat, it was just a little shitty boat. Like, one of those ones made of rubber with air inside. That ain't gonna hold. It isn't. Come on, man. Yeah, no, that was a little bit bullshit, but you know, it's a Jurassic World franchise. What do you expect?
Oh dear. And then we get like the dolphins. Like, oh, because she mentioned, oh, are they dolphins? I'd like to see dolphins or something like that. At the start, and the little kid gets to see dolphins at the end for that reason. And it's just, hey, Jurassic Park. And the main bad guy gets eaten. And, you know, he chained the DNA to himself because I was expecting the whole DNA thing to be a bait and switch. To be like, it was just to get there and, you know, maybe do something else nefarious to claim some data back from the lab. Maybe. But no, nothing like that at all. It literally was them making a life-saving cure. I thought that was a red herring. Maybe I'm expecting a bit too much. Who knows? But, the ending, like, it made sense in Jurassic Park to have pelicans or condors. I think they were pelicans, though, because it's like, oh, they're birds, they're the surviving ancestors, and they're leaving the island, and then dinosaurs are surviving and that. But we just get dolphins, and then another Off Into the Sunset. Before you know it, directed by Gareth Edwards. Screenplay, David Cobb. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. And I've pondered why we have Rebirth in the title, why it's classic Jurassic. I don't think anything about it is classic Jurassic. I don't think anything about it makes sense for it to be Rebirth. Dominion made sense. Jeff says it in the movie.
Come on, man.
But
you know, I think the same. The movie, right? It wasn't done. The movie wasn't done when it ended. I was surprised that the movie was done when we sat in the theater and suddenly the director came up. No, not that. Directed by blah blah blah, and then the lights start turning on in the theater, and I was like, we haven't gotten an ending yet. Like what? Okay, no big fight, no, nothing. Just okay. They escaped the island. Okay, cool. The bad guy died. Like, for fuck's sake, you had four Spinos, right, fighting a mutant T-Rex. But no, there were no fight. There were no, even though the T-Rex was at the shore, the ocean, at the end of the movie. It was right there. They could have made a fight scene between the mutant T-Rex and the four smaller Spinos. Spino against T-Rex again. Just think of it. The T-Rex taking up one of the Spinos by the throat with its big fucking arms and tossing it would have been an awesome scene. Or taking one of the Spinos and ripping it apart. Blood everywhere, Fucking, it would have been awesome. And it would have made it more mutant, and would have made it more scary. Like, I feel like the T-Rex, no, not the T-Rex, the T-Rex, it just looked at the people, screamed a little bit, ate like two people. No, like, it ate one person, looked at the rest, and just was like, who the fuck are you? Walking slowly up to them and like, I'm dangerous. It was boring. It was a boring dinosaur. They had potential. Really. They really had.
Also, to have dominion on the world. Dinosaurs are released. Are they going to take over the world? No, they're dying. Again, that whole plotline doesn't make sense with the fact that, you know, we had Blue and Beta surviving in the bloody snow for God knows how long? 3 years up there? I don't know. Yeah, and afterwards, I was really thinking, this was such an okay movie that it's not eliciting any reaction from me. All I'm left with was, they were cool set pieces, they were cool dinosaurs. It was alright. Maybe criminally so. Especially after how controversial Dominion was. And, you know, if you want to see my thoughts on Dominion, I actually put a proper review of that movie. Because I could condense all my thoughts. Maybe I'll do it with this one. But there's nothing in it that's really sparked a, no, it should be this way. It should be this. It's just one of those, like, it was alright. Yeah?
Okay, stop. How many fucking ads?
It will be interesting to see what everyone else thinks about it. You know, once the audience scores come in. I think it will be generally perceived as pretty good in the public. It'll be like, oh, it was a fun monster movie. But then 5 years later, they'll get it confused with Godzilla.
They probably will.
That's what I think. They'll be like, wait, wasn't that Godzilla? No, I don't know. Unlike the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park.
And you know, the fun thing is that the guy who directed the movie, I think it was, worked on one of the Godzilla movies. Like a big part in the Godzilla movie. One of the Godzilla movies. And the T-Rex looks almost exactly like a Muto. Where did you get that inspiration from? I wonder. I don't know.
3, which has survived, and I'm really glad that it did not show up in this movie, because I remember reading something not too long ago where I think somebody, well, obviously they were just bullcrapping around saying that, oh, you need to see Jurassic Park 3 because the Spinosaurus.
Wonder. I don't know.
3, which has survived, and I'm really glad that it did not show up in this movie, because I remember reading something not too long ago where I think somebody, well, obviously they were just bullcrapping around saying that, oh, you need to see Jurassic Park 3 because the Spinosaurus.
I just realized you guys probably can't even hear me. Anyways, yeah.
In this one, really glad that it did not show up in this movie. That's what I think. They'll be like, wait, wasn't that Godzilla? No, I don't know. Unlike the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3, which has survived, and I'm really glad that it did not show up in this movie, because I remember reading something not too long ago where I think somebody, well, obviously they were just bullcrapping around saying that, oh, you need to see Jurassic Park 3 because the Spinosaurus in this one. Obviously, they were just meaning Spinosaurs in general, I guess. And how many there are, who knows? There was no landmines, which we saw in some of the toys, which would have been cool. Maybe they placed landmines to protect it or to keep the dinosaurs on the island. I'm surprised that after 17 years, there's a fully functioning Titanosaur herd on the island. Were they always on the island? Were they allowed to breed? Or do they just reproduce like rabbits and they grow at an accelerated speed? The giant vehicle is there. This terraforming 40k vehicle, which everyone's saying, oh, these giant construction vehicles exist. Yeah, but they're not on a tiny island. How do you transport something like that? So I think this movie, it's made me want more. Like, there's more questions that have been raised than have been answered. Okay, here we go. Because you all want to see it. What's my rankings? Of course, Jurassic Park is first. Lost World for me, because it was a movie that came out at the right time. I was a kid. I actually went to see it in the cinema. And it was what I would do with my toys all the time. Go to an island, explore, have a mission, people die, it's dumb fun. Jurassic Park, and so Lost World, And then from there, it's kind of a blur. Sorry, battery died there. I've been yabbering, obviously, for too long. It's a toss-up between Jurassic World and this movie. Because I don't think I rewatch Jurassic World that much. Obviously, I want to rewatch this one, and maybe that'll change over time. So number 3, Rebirth. Number 4, Jurassic World. 5, Jurassic Park 3. And then the last 2, it's a Dominion. As much as I hate what they did with Alan Grant's arc, his story, the character, how little he had to do in the movie, I still have watched Dominion more times than I've watched Fallen Kingdom. And I don't know whether that is the lowest rated one, but for me personally, just Fallen Kingdom, apart from the intro, I can't be bothered most of the time. Again, I think it's a middle child syndrome, right? Like, you have to have so much context beforehand, and then it doesn't end. You know, it's another movie. Whereas Dominion felt like at least it was enclosed. At least it had an end to it, and it looked promising, I guess, on a start. And the old cast went back.
I don't agree on that. I wouldn't say so. I would say, probably Jurassic Park, of course, classic. Jurassic World, probably. The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3. No, actually, Jurassic Park 3 and then The Lost World. Rebirth, Fallen Kingdom, and then Dominion. Dominion, fuck Dominion. I hate Dominion. It's a horrible movie.
So yeah, Jurassic World Rebirth, not the best, not the worst. I mean, I placed it number 3, I suppose, but apart from number 1 and 2 spots, which I absolutely adore those movies. It's okay. I like I said, I think it's just a fast food. I think it looks pretty. It was pretty in certain places. Some of the CG, I think, especially with the Titanosaur hood, when you see it the long shot, they're still pushing, and it's so annoying. They're still pushing the actual message of Jurassic Park, which is genetic meddling and how fleeting life is and how we're going towards our extinction. Henry Loomis fills in that character. Like I said, Alan Grant, Jeff Goldblum, Ian Malcolm character merged into one. Felt right. That felt like a Jurassic thing to put in. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. I've talked for too long. Apparently they're working on the sequel, or the 5th Jurassic World movie, the 8th Jurassic Park movie, and apparently Scarlett Johansson's going to be joining back, and Gareth Edwards to direct, I think, is all that we know so far, possibly. On its own, I feel like with the future movies, we'll get more context. Well, maybe we'll find out why the D-Rex is broken out. And you know what it is? I wouldn't be surprised if these other movies, or the sequel movies, subsequent movies, follow the D-Rex, the Distorters. Maybe we'll find out about the other ones that were made. Are there other ones on the island? What happened to those ones? How did it break out in the first place? It should have been Isosauner, or if it wasn't Isosauner, it should have been Biosyn. And the explanation for the D-Rex would have made so much more sense. Because whatever happened on this island 17 years ago, it wasn't the end of the lab. It was just an incident. Because there's not, like, was that how the lab broke down and everything? You had a helicopter here in the movie that people died in, they crash landed or something. Was that brought down by the Mutadons? Was that a rescue effort? Somebody said that on the helicopter was some army.
Shut up.
I can't remember, like a local or a country nearby's army was on there or something like that. So I don't think that we have to have our hand held when it comes to these movies, but some things you might want to explain a little bit more. But yeah, no, I'll not yabber on anymore. You don't want to listen to. I've got nothing more to add at this point. I will watch it again at some point, probably when it comes out in Japan in August 8th, I think it is. So I've got a whole month to wait till it comes out there. They love hands, I will say. Jurassic Park, you had Ray Arnold's arm. Lost World, you had the arm on the boat, and then in this one, you have the arm on the case, on the suitcase. The DNA embryo
is quite fun.
Case or whatever it was. They love just severed arms Indoraptor eats, what is he called? I can't remember his name. He eats his arm. It has no blood or anything, which is weird. So they love ripping arms off. But it was fresh. I enjoyed it. I don't know how much I enjoyed it, how well it will age. I don't think it'll do crazy well at the box office. I think it'll be positively seen by most people. The reviews that were saying that it's soulless and is just, you know, I don't think there was any need for that sort of venom, I suppose. It didn't feel like it warranted anything like that. Scarlett Johansson's character wasn't phoning it in. I don't think so. I don't think, you know, you knew Scarlett Johansson's character wasn't going to die. You knew Henry Loomis's, you know, that character wasn't going to die. And Duncan could have, didn't, but would have made sense from that. You knew the family wasn't going to die. The boyfriend was probably the only one that could have. And who knows how he ended up surviving the attack of the Mutodons and the Raptors, and then went straight back to peeing. The joke being that, you know, you can't stop midstream sort of thing. And even when the whole kerfuffle was happening behind him, he never really turned around, I don't think, until after it was over. If you like the video, leave a like. This is my first, again, review that I've done since Fallen Kingdom. Initial reactions. For reasons that it didn't come out in Japan. I was in the UK. So, yeah, interesting. We were in this lovely, cozy hotel, and I flew in to the UK yesterday. I'm flying out back to Japan tomorrow. So I basically came in just for this and an event. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Oh, bye-bye.
Okay. I agree on many of the points that Beaver made, but I would say the movie isn't that good. It's a good standalone movie. I would say it's a good big blockbuster movie, you know. It's a good one, if you look at it that way. But as a Jurassic Park / World movie, it just doesn't fit in. And we didn't get a satisfying ending. Like, come on, man. We could have had so damn much potential. Just think of it. Think of it. They mentioned in the start that, what was it? That all the dinosaurs have died, except a few which went down to the equator. You could make an incredibly interesting story out of that. How the humanity of man, how far it extends, as if we just have to kill off those last dinosaurs, or we should let them live, or what we should do. And that was what Dominion tried to do, but it didn't do it that well. It's quite bad, actually. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't think the movie's too great as a Jurassic Park / World movie, but as a normal movie, it is one of the better ones. So would I recommend to see it? Yes, you should go see it. Yeah, that's basically it. So thank you guys for watching. It was a fun stream. Sorry it took me 3 hours to watch a 1 hour stream, but no, not stream, video. But you know, that is how it is sometimes. And I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. See you.